All right, cool. So we're gonna talk about just your experience with the AWS Cloud Engineer program that we have here at the 1% University. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions and just give your honest feedback, your honest answers, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, cool. So the first question is, what was your situation or challenge before joining the 1%? Sorry, what was your situation or challenge before joining the AWS Cloud Engineer program?
Honestly, as a software engineer, I felt like I was just had a lot of work stress. There was a lot of deadlines, and I felt like, there may be like an easier way because I'm making good money. I could say great money. And if I wanted to make even more money, I'd have to work even harder. And I don't want to do data structure and algorithms. Like I'm burnt out from interviews, and studying for an interview is kind of like going back to school. And I didn't want to do that anymore.
Okay. By the way, I'm gonna top it up. So if you make a mistake, don't worry. But you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay, good. Why did you choose the AWS? Why did you choose the A? My bad. Why did you choose this AWS Cloud Engineer program? Oh, oh my goodness. Let me put this right here. This was funny. One second. All right, cool. All right, cool. So why did you choose this AWS Cloud Engineer program over? This is the typo. Other over. Okay, my bad, bro. All right, cool. So why did you choose this AWS Cloud Engineering program over other options? Other options. Over. I'm over. That's embarrassing. All right, cool. All right. So why did you choose this AWS Cloud Engineer program over other options?
Well, so I'm working in like cloud DevOps, kind of from like end to end. And I already had some exposures to AWS with like my certified cloud practitioner and solutions architect. That helped me get my job. But I was working in Azure, but things kind of translate. And since I've seen Tayo talk about it, I was like, look, I already have like a strong foundation for this. And I think this is something I can like pivot to kind of like easily instead of like trying to like work harder as a software engineer. Because I mean, software engineering is just so vast. You have front end, back end, and then you have AI and large language modules. And I was like, I feel like this skill ceiling or skill floor is a lot easier to hit for me.
Okay. Nice, nice. Um, how did the program help you achieve your goal of landing a remote AWS Cloud Engineer position?
So the program basically reinforced what I already knew. It kind of let me be immersed into the language so I know how to like really like walk it and talk it. Before I would just like be aware of it. Now I can actually say more than just the buzzwords that recruiters and like head of engineering want to hear, but to actually go through them through the whole architectural like discussion of this setup from end to end. So I feel very comfortable with it. It was more than just a couple projects, but just seeing how Tayo handled himself in screeners and interviews and through the entire process, it gave me the confidence to go through it as well.
Okay, nice. Just a side question too, like even if somebody didn't have like any experience in IT or cloud engineering, from the program, is it something that you think that they can still pick up? Like, could they start from scratch?
I think anyone starting from scratch can be successful in this program because of the way that the lessons are done. He records them, and even as he makes mistakes, he showed them like, "Hey, this is how IT works. You see a problem and you fix it. You are the problem solver. I am a natural problem solver." So seeing him do things, get the bug, and fixing it in real time made it okay. Like this is something that will happen on the job because it's not always going to be perfect. And even when you're following very good instructions, there may be an issue along the way. Like maybe one step got deprecated or is no longer used. And maybe we have to use a different command. And that's why I think as long as you're good at following instructions and knowing the steps, you'll be good. Like we all know how to make a sandwich: bread, lettuce, meat, cheese, and whatever fixings we want, then more bread. There we go. if you're going out of order and going bread, lettuce, and bread, that's not a very good sandwich because you didn't follow the original recipe. Right now, he's giving us the cookbook. He's telling us how long it should be in the oven, and he's showing us what to do in case we burn something. And it's all fixable and it's all manageable.
Okay. So pretty much it's like a step-by-step program to be able to go from where they currently are to making anywhere from $130,000 a year as an AWS cloud engineer.
Absolutely. And I think if they were starting from scratch, you could probably do it like if you're really buckling down, probably in 2 to 3 months, you can get proficient.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, the fastest student just finished 5 days ago. Oh, that's brothers. Thank you. Wait 1 second. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, so like the fastest student actually finished 5 days ago. She's an outlier, of course, because she didn't have she quit her job. But she finished the program within 1 month and 1 day. So she's applying for jobs right now. It's just a matter of time before she secures it. But anyways, what skills or knowledge did so this you could talk about like the recruitment system, like you learned a lot about how like how it works from the back end on the recruiter side, then also how to get you obtain the skill set of getting recruiters to reach out to you and your phone, emails, LinkedIn DMs. Like you had like a lot of traffic, and you didn't have that before. It was hard for you to actually get a recruiter on the phone. So what skills or knowledge did you gain from the program that you didn't have before?
I think the most useful thing was his recruitment system because I would get interviews here and there, but then like I wouldn't pass like the screener calls because I would be missing like this magic word or this phrase here. But now going through the program, I feel very confident to have recruiters reach out to me. And that's how I even got my job because a recruiter reached out to me. They called me and then I had like one round interview. It was the easiest interview because it was like a conversation. And I've seen this from watching his interviews and screeners. And the best one is the one where he has like the most rapport and it's like a casual conversation, but he's giving them a lot of information about his background and why he's such a good fit for it. And just seeing how he handles with recruiters in order to help them like do the job for him, as in like finding the job. I felt like, okay, I can do that. And I started seeing some success with LinkedIn DMs and just recruiters emailing and calling me every day. Sometimes it says scam likely or just random calls, but when my phone ring, it's money calling. So I pick up having a lot more now that I'm in the program.
Okay. So after learning the recruitment system, like it's like you can turn it on anytime you want. You have this skill for the rest of your life, and literally you can have recruiters reaching out to you, correct?
Absolutely. My resume has been so tailored. Like even now I adjusted for a couple of other positions because within the cloud engineering, there's still a lot of positions that we can apply for beyond AWS cloud engineer. We got platform engineer, we have site reliability engineer, we have DevSecOps. And now I have multiple resumes just so I could just, expand the reach. But it's all the same work.
Nice. And like you've seen it too. Like there's a lot of jobs in the skill set that you've learned from this program, correct?
Correct.
Good pay.
Oh, good pay. Like the lowest I've seen is like 115.
Okay. And then again, like you've experienced it already, but like the time that you spend at your job is dramatically lower than what you were doing before as a software engineer, correct?
Absolutely. My biggest reason for pivoting is having work stress. It was impacting my life, my relationships, and just things outside of work. I would go to bed thinking of work, waking up saying, "Oh no, it's time to go to work," and then, okay, I got to get this ready for this and that. And now all of that is just gone. The work I'm doing is not as stressful, and everything else is just gone up since I have less work stress now, I can focus more on like my side things, like my fitness and my business, and that's what I really care about. Now, my quality of life has just increased.
Nice, nice. What was the biggest change in your life after securing the $130,000 remote AWS cloud engineer position?
I was able to really see how manageable it was, and just going through from what the job descriptions, what they said we were doing, we're actually doing, and it's not difficult work because I'm good at it, and now that I'm doing it in practice, I'm going to be masterful at it. So now I feel like I can even scale and get another job that's similar in the field because I'm already doing what I'm doing. It's just a matter of like rinse and repeat. I'm not saying that it's easy work. I'm just saying that I found something that I can specialize and could scale doing.
And do you feel like the tools, the technology, the knowledge that you learned from this program help you to pretty much understand what was needed for the job? Like even if you go to like the job description on like AWS Cloud Engineer, do you feel like you can act like you know what they're looking for?
Even beyond AWS cloud engineering, even if it's Azure or Google Cloud, because some of these positions they're cloud agnostic and they use all of them. But since I've gone through the 1% university, I feel confident with all cloud positions because I know the importance of why we have to have these systems in place and why infrastructure as code is so crucial. My job is basically the infrastructure as code developer, and that's just setting up the foundations for these services to run. And they're going to be running in AWS, they're going to be working in Google Cloud. I have no experience in Google Cloud, but since I know what I'm doing as a cloud engineer, my skills are transferable.
Okay.
And I'm not,
Nice, nice, nice. That's amazing. Where do you think you'd be now if you hadn't joined the program?
if I hadn't joined the program, I probably would be interviewing for other software engineering roles. I probably would have buckled down and studied and doing more flood fill and leak codes and just doing more of the same, getting a higher position and just more work.
Okay. Like let's touch on the emotional side. Like how do you think you would be feeling going through that? Like still feeling stressed and overworked with tight deadlines.
I feel like I still would have been somewhat like annoyed because it's like, this is something I can do that pays really great, but it's just the work-life balance just isn't there because engineers are working hard. And I could work any of the hours that I want, but those hours are actually filled with me just looking at my screen and pushing the needle forward.
Okay. So making that transition from software engineer to cloud engineer, you're able to make more money essentially and then also work less, correct?
I would say, yes, I would say that it's comparable for sure. I would say work stress with comparable pay any time.
Okay. It creates that opportunity to make more money and work less, pretty much. Learning the skill. Okay. Um, so my last and final question is, what would you say to someone who's considering joining the AWS Cloud Engineer program but is unsure?
If you're if you want to pivot or go to a field that has a higher quality of life, better work-life balance, and an easier skill floor to obtain, then I would say you have no reason not to do it. Because if you're very serious, you could finish the university in about a month. When I did it, I finished it in about like 3 weeks. And then I started applying for jobs and I realized, okay, I need to understand how this recruitment process works better. And once I had those two things connected, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And now when has already happened because I successfully got an offer letter. So I don't think you have anything to lose. The sooner you do it, the sooner you can get one of these easier, well, I'm not gonna say easier, but less stressful jobs.
Okay. And I'll put into perspective, you did have a software engineer background, so some of the tools and technology you did already know. So that's why it did take you 3 weeks quicker than, other students. But I had, like I said, my star student, she came from sales, right? She knew nothing about IT, but she was still able to commit the time, energy, and effort into the program. And she finished like learning everything in 1 month and 1 day. But just wanted to point that out to bring some perspective to people who might have that might be thinking about that. Um, and yeah, thank you for your time. This is amazing.
Thank you. My own closing thing is I've been tired of debugging and looking at stack traces and coming up with new. As a cloud engineer, as an architect, most of these problems have already been solved. You just need to connect them in a way that makes sense. You have all these different avenues. You just have to pick the best one for your job that's going to be the most cost effective, the easiest to implement, and the safest in terms of security. And with this 1%, you already know the great things to use that people are already using. So you can get in those conversations and show them that you know what you're talking about and you're very true for the job.
Nice, nice. And then also you can say like you can confidently say that you have this skill set for the rest of your life. Even if you left your job, you can always come back to IT, making $130,000 or more, correct?
Correct.
Nice, nice, cool, cool. And now we're on the process of scaling to $500,000 a year. And then that's just a bonus that I include within the 1% University, the AWS Cloud Engineer program. And we're gonna have fun on that journey.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.